The second generation Thunderbird, it's controversial in the collector community. A lot of people have a real distaste for it. Robert McNamara, one of the whiz kids that Ford had hired after World War II, he did a lot of research during the first generation Thunderbird sales. He felt that the fact that the first gen was a two-seater held the sales numbers back. That's what his research had told him. So he decided to act on that research and give the Thunderbird a rear seat. The result of that second seat, the Thunderbird earns Motor Trend's Car of the Year in 1958, and the second generation sells 4 times as many cars as they had sold in the first generation. Think of it what you will as a car enthusiast, but I guarantee you Ford stockholders at the time were ecstatic about how that car rolled out. Today we're going to take a look at the second, third, and fourth generation Ford Thunderbird. Ford got off to a late start on the 1958 Thunderbird. Production began in December of 1957, with orders taken in January 1958. The new Thunderbird was unibody construction, sharing the chassis with the new 1958 Lincoln. While Ford wanted to add a rear seat, they also wanted the car to remain smaller than the rest of the Ford lineup. The styling department spearheaded the car's development, and they styled the T-Bird to ride lower, giving it only 5.8 inches of ground clearance. This was accomplished by raising the transmission and driveshaft tunnel into the passenger compartment. This also divided the front and rear seats, creating 4 bucket seats. The exterior of the car was completely new. The front featured 4 headlamps in a horizontal configuration, a larger front bumper, and a faux hood scoop. The C-pillar was more squared off. The rear continued the use of tail fins with 4 tail lamps. The Thunderbird was offered as a hardtop or convertible. Convertibles borrowed the opening mechanism from the 58 Lincoln Continental, where the trunk lid would open electronically in a single piece hinged at the back of the vehicle. Then the fabric top would fold down and disappear beneath the trunk lid. The driveline consisted of Ford's 300 horsepower, 352 cubic inch 4-barrel V8. The standard transmission was the 3-speed manual, with a Cruise-O-Matic 3-speed automatic as optional. The car featured an independent front suspension, and the rear was a solid rear axle on trailing arms. Ford delivered 37,892 Thunderbirds for the 1958 model year. That was its highest total to date, even with the 3-month production delay.
This is the bluegrass country of Kentucky. This is the land of the thoroughbred. Here, among people trained to recognize a champion on sight, Ford proudly presents the car everyone would love to own. The 1959 Ford Thunderbird, the car whose very name calls up a picture of youth and spirit and romance. Thunderbird, America's most admired car because its lines are so beautifully pure and clean. Thunderbird, America's most wanted car because it is unique in personality and prestige. Thunderbird, America's most distinctive car, with doors 4 feet wide that make it so easy to get in and out of, with the 4 widest, deepest, most comfortable seats you ever rode in, with all the headroom and legroom any 4 people could want. And here's a Thunderbird exclusive, the service console, with power window control and ashtrays within easy reach of all passengers. It looks like a thoroughbred. It moves like a thoroughbred. Compact as it is, the 59 Thunderbird handles with an ease and assurance you'll have to feel to believe. The Thunderbird is a true luxury car, powered and sized to give you the kind of performance you've always associated only with sports cars. It's nimble, it's quick, and the way it corners, you'll think roads were grooved for Thunderbirds. With the mighty Thunderbird V8 engine, in a car this size, you'll experience performance that's nothing short of spectacular. If ever a car were designed for pure driving pleasure, this is it. It's a feeling you've never had in any other car, bar none. And all the excitement of driving a Thunderbird, the prestige of owning a Thunderbird, either hardtop or convertible, is yours at a price far below that of other luxury cars. Ask your Ford dealer to arrange a demonstration drive for you. Your heart will tell you why the '59 Ford Thunderbird is America's most wanted car. The car everyone would love to own.
The 1959 model year brought a few minor styling changes to the Thunderbird's ornamentation, and for the first time, Ford offered a leather interior option. The rear suspension was revised to a live rear axle on leaf springs. A new 345 horsepower, 430 cubic inch power plant was offered as an option. There were few other changes of note, and sales for the first full year of production stood at 67,456 Thunderbirds, which was another new sales record. 1960 brings a few more subtle changes to the Thunderbird's ornamentation, and the rear of the Thunderbird now sports 6 tail lamps, 3 per side. There were no other changes of note. Ford sets yet another sales record with the delivery of 92,843 Thunderbirds for the 1960 model year.
This is a day to remember, for today there is a new Thunderbird. This is the shape of it. This is how it can be for you in the Thunderbird for 1961. Unmistakably new. Unmistakably Thunderbird. Notice, it's not a hair wider nor a tenth of an inch longer than Thunderbirds you've known before. There's a new Thunderbird convertible, too, with 4-passenger luxury for all the world to see. The Thunderbird touch is everywhere. The optional swing-away steering wheel moves over to welcome you in. The rear-view mirror is permanently bonded to the windshield. This is new, too, the eager might of the new Thunderbird 390 Special V8 engine. There can be a day like this for you, a Thunderbird day. Your Ford dealer will be glad to help you make the arrangements. See him soon.
1961 brings a new, completely restyled Thunderbird, and this introduces the third generation. This is a much sleeker Thunderbird with smoother sides. The design features one belt line that begins at the bumper of the car and sweeps all the way back to its tail fins. There are now 2 larger round tail lamps at the rear of the car. The 61 Thunderbird features several firsts for the automotive industry: the swing-away tilt steering column and a floating, glued to the windshield, rear-view mirror make their first appearance on this car. Ford began adding standard items to this Thunderbird that were previously options. Power steering, power brakes, backup lights, and bucket seats were now all standard. Ford introduces the new 300 horsepower, 390 cubic inch FE Series 4-barrel V8, and the Cruise-O-Matic 3-speed automatic is the only engine transmission combination available. Sales remain strong, however, they are lower, with 73,051 Thunderbirds being delivered in the 1961 model year. 1962 brings a few changes to the Thunderbird. Ford added a new engine option in the form of a 340 horsepower, 390 cubic inch tri-power, or 3 2-barrel carburetors. Ford also introduces the Landau model. This features a vinyl roof with chrome S-shaped bars attached to the C-pillars. Additionally, Ford introduced the Sports Roadster Limited Edition. This special edition came with a color-matching tonneau cover that was placed over the rear seats, giving the Thunderbird the appearance of a 2-seat roadster. The Roadster Edition also came with special chrome wire wheels. These wheels proved to be problematic as they failed during hard cornering, with several simply collapsing. Ford replaced these wheels on all 1,427 Roadsters built in 1962. Ford delivers 78,011 Thunderbirds for the 1962 model year. The 1963 model year brought very few actual changes to the Thunderbird. Ford added the AM radio and a remote-operated driver's side mirror to the standard equipment list. 1963 sees a further decline in sales, with Ford delivering only 63,313 Thunderbirds.
Introducing a new styling classic, the 1964 Thunderbird. Completely new on the outside, completely new on the inside. Thunderbird steps out again, setting the pace with fresh, exciting ideas. From any point of view, Thunderbird is truly unique, an American original. Its styling is a new departure in the Thunderbird tradition. New lines, yet reminiscent of past Thunderbirds. subtly maintaining a continuity of design that keeps it popular year after year. The massive rugged bumper and grille enhance Thunderbird's quality appearance. The long hood, sharply defined lines, and smooth surfaces give Thunderbird a pleasing design, graceful and powerful. Bright, large taillights tell people a mile away this is Thunderbird. Another Thunderbird first. High visibility turn signals that really get attention. Further distinguish Thunderbird from other cars. Here is a sensible styling innovation. Comfortable coved seats for rear seat passengers and ingenious pedestal type seats for front seat passengers. Classic styling. Beautifully formed, luxuriously comfortable. And these new styled pedestal seats afford rear seat passengers increased leg and foot room. Classic comfort and clean classic lines are beautifully, subtly combined in this truly unique car. Classic simplicity prevails in the newly conceived instrument panel, featuring an easily readable row of floating gauges. The unique speedometer has individually lighted numerals and special magnifying lens with a thermometer-type speed indicator. All is centered before the driver, while the balance of the dash is clean, uncluttered. Inside and outside, Thunderbird is beautifully functional, moving ahead with new ideas.
"1964 brings a new fourth generation of Thunderbird. It is viewed by many to be a refresh of the third generation. It was more sculptured, especially along the sides of the car. The rear of the car was completely new with large rectangular tail lamps and a rear bumper that wrapped around the tail lamps and the entire rear of the car. The interior was completely redesigned. Many of the controls now were positioned closer to the driver. The speedometer became a series of numbers sweeping across the dash that began at 0 and increased in increments of 10, all the way to 120 miles per hour. The speed was indicated by a red line that swept from the left to the right as speed increased. All gauges swept horizontally as well. The sole drivetrain for 1964 was the 300 horsepower 390 4-barrel V8, and it was mated to the 3-speed Cruise-O-Matic automatic transmission. Sales numbers rebound, and Ford delivers 92,465 Thunderbirds for the 1964 model year. The 1965 model Thunderbird is almost a carryover year with a few styling changes. The Thunderbird emblem is now front and center on the hood of the car. The tail lamps now feature the famous sequential turn signal feature, and front disc brakes are added to the standard feature list. Ford delivers 74,972 Thunderbirds in 1965. 1966 sees a cosmetic change from 1965, with Ford adding a new front clip to the Thunderbird. The hood became flatter, and the fenders received new headlight buckets. The new grille sported a center Thunderbird emblem, and the car featured a single front bumper. The rear tail lamps were replaced with a full-width tail lamp, with the backup light now located in the center. Ford adds the 345 horsepower 428 cubic inch 4-barrel V8 to the engine option list, and this engine is backed by a C6 automatic transmission. Ford delivers 69,176 Thunderbirds in 1966. And we're going to stop the story here. We're not going to get into the 67 Thunderbird just yet. If you think the second gen cars were a departure from the first gen cars, you'd be absolutely right. They were no longer small cars and somewhat sporty. They had gotten larger, but they were still touring cars. When you look at the 67 Thunderbird, that brought something new to the equation, and that was an extra set of doors. It had become a 4-door passenger car, and those doors were what are called suicide doors. They're called suicide doors because if you happen to open up the rear door as the car was moving and held onto it, you'd go right outside the car. My personal opinion on the second gen Thunderbirds, kind of on the fence. I'm not a big fan of the styling of these cars. That said, the interior in these cars is phenomenal. It was an era where chrome and styling was everywhere. It took precedence over anything else. And there's something to be said for that. You can tell the people that designed these cars had freedom to experiment, to do whatever they wanted. And they exercised that freedom. That's something that's sadly missing in the vehicles of today. That's my thoughts on the second, third, and fourth generation Thunderbird. What do you think? Do you like these cars, or is this something that you detest? Do you just prefer the first gen? Let me know in the comments section down below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That helps other people see it. Also, consider subscribing. There's a lot of videos like this on my channel. It's like this one over here. It's on the first generation Thunderbirds. We get into those cars in detail. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll see you.